So far, we have discussed how to define a problem, how to search for its causes, and how to delve into the root causes of a problem. Healthcare, especially nowadays, is one of the most complicated sectors or industries because of many interacting factors and the processes that make finding a single root cause for a problem not common. Therefore, we should expect several alternatives or solutions for any problem. Now the question is how to choose among these alternatives or solutions. How to decide which option should we go with? Indeed, in healthcare, like all other industries, there are two general approaches to decision-making to choose among different solutions. These are quantitative and qualitative approaches. For the sake of this course, we are interested in studying an example of qualitative methods. Although it's a simple tool, as you will see later in this video, yet it's a very effective one and easy to apply by a team if they practice it a few times. That being said, let's start by discussing one of the qualitative tools that could be used by a team or an individual to better decide among different solutions or alternatives for a particular problem or issue. The prioritization matrix. The prioritization matrix is a simple yet effective tool, if done correctly. Either a team or an individual could do it. Implementing prioritization matrix depends upon two main items. The first item is a list of alternatives or options that we are interested in choosing among them. Second item is a set of criteria. This set of criteria is not standard, and it changes from a project to another, from a problem to another. However, it depends upon having consensus by the team. These criteria are used to further rank our options, as we will see later in this video. Here are detailed steps of how to implement a prioritization matrix. As you can see, we start with a problem that is clearly identified and we end with a selection of a solution or an option. Although a list of the in-between steps looks a bit long, do not worry about it for the time being, as it will be easily understood through an example. To better understand the prioritization matrix, we will go ahead and practice an example to see how to implement it in practice. Let us see what we have here. We have a team from Serpanio's General Hospital. The team faces a problem, that is, long waiting lists in the liver transplantation unit. The team's role is to recommend solutions for this problem, and to choose only one solution of the available list. Usually such a list is a result of a previous exercise, usually a brainstorming session. So, in our case, in our example, the team has already done a brainstorming session and they have concluded with a list of 3 options. The 3 options are: A. Increased number of medical and nursing staff by 1 surgeon and 2 nurses. B. Mutually cooperative agreement with another transplantation facility. C. Investment and expansion of the transplantation unit. Now we have defined the problem. We have a list of alternatives or solutions. What is next? Next is a list of criteria that we will use these criteria to rank the options or the solutions that we have. Here, the team generated a list of 4 criteria that they will use: cost, patient satisfaction, short-term impact and long-term impact. Regarding cost, the lower is better. The lower the cost that the solution will consume, the better it is for the organization. Patient satisfaction, the higher is the better. The higher the patient satisfaction score, the better it is. Short-term impact and long-term impact will follow the same basic score as we will see later. What is next? Next is to get a weight for each criterion. The simplest way to do this is through pairwise ranking. How to do that? Let's see. As you can see, we just have the list of evaluation criteria from the previous screen. The 4 criteria, we just copy and paste them in a row and in a column in our table. Now, Our target here is to compare each criterion against all other criteria to decide which is more important relative to the other one. So, we will compare cost to patient satisfaction, to short-term impact and to long-term impact and so on. As you can see, the lower left half of the table is blocked because comparing cost to itself does not make any sense. So, we will just block this square. We do not need it. That is why you will find that nearly the lower half of the table is blocked. The remaining squares, as you can see, are 6 squares that we will use to do our exercise. Let us start by patient satisfaction against cost. Which is more important, relative to the other one? The team have agreed that the patient satisfaction is more important. So, we just did it in the square. Short-term impact against cost. Cost is more important. Long-term impact and cost. Long-term impact is more important. So, we will just add it in the square. Second row. No need for patient satisfaction against patient satisfaction nor patient satisfaction against cost. So, let's go ahead to short-term impact. Short-term impact against patient satisfaction. Which is more important? Patient satisfaction, so we will just add it to the table. Long-term impact against patient satisfaction. Which is more important? Patient satisfaction. Let us go to the last row. Now we have to decide only between long-term and short-term impact. The team decided that long-term impact is more important. Next we'll be counting the number of each criterion, the number of votes each criterion got out of the total number, that is 6. So, let us go to the next step. We have a very simple table. We should enlist the evaluation criteria with their corresponding counts. Cost got only 1 vote, so we will just put 1 count there. Patient satisfaction. How many votes did patient satisfaction get? Patient satisfaction got 3 votes, so we just add 3 there. Short-term impact did not get any votes, so we will just add 0. Long-term impact. How many votes did it get? It got 2 votes. Now, let us get the percentage of each criterion to estimate its weight. Divide the number of votes of each criterion by the total possible number of 6. This will give us the percentage of each criterion, which could be used as a rough estimate of its relative weight. For the first criterion, it is 0.17. Patient satisfaction is 0.5. Short-term impact is 0. And long-term impact is 0.33. Let us do rounding of these numbers to make it easier to handle later. They will be 0.2, 0.5, 0, and 0.3, respectively. Now, we have the weight of each criterion. We will exclude short-term impact because it didn't get any weight. Let's go to that next step. Now we have a list of options. We will just add it on the left as you see. Staff increasing mutual agreement and expansion. We have the weight in the upper row. We have the evaluation criteria with their corresponding weights. Now it is time for assigning base scoring of each solution. The first option, staff increasing. The team assigned it 7 for patient satisfaction, 6 for cost and 5 for long-term impact. All these scores are out of 10. The second option, mutual agreement. The team assigned it 3 for patient satisfaction, 6 for cost and 3 for long-term impact. The third option, expansion. The team scored it 10 for patient satisfaction, 2 for the cost and 10 for the long-term impact. So now we have base scoring of each solution against the evaluation criteria. Now, it is time for a simple multiplication. We just multiply each base scoring by the weight of the criterion of that column. So, for example, for staff increasing option, we will multiply 7 by 0.5, the weight of the criterion of that column. The result is 3.5. The same for cost. 6 times 0.2 is equal to 1.2. 5 times 0.3 is equal to 1.3 for the long-term impact. We will do the same calculations for the second and third options. By summing up the scores of each option, we get a total score for each of them. The three options got total scores of 6.2, 3.6, and 8.1, respectively. Rounding numbers, we get 6, 4, and 8 respectively. So now, as you can see, it is very easy to choose expansion as the first option because it has the highest score. Conclusively, prioritization matrix helped us in converting our subjective evaluation of different options into a meaningful ranking.